Look at yourself for a second. Every tear you've shed, every night you've stared at the ceiling asking why me, every moment you've whispered to yourself that life isn't fair. I need you to understand something: life doesn't care. The world doesn't pause for your pain. It doesn't feel sorry for you. It doesn't send you an apology letter, and it will never give you a do-over. Right now, while you're curled up thinking about what you've lost, somebody else is out there taking what could have been yours. While you sit there replaying the tragedy in your mind, someone else is building their empire. And here's the brutal truth: every second you waste feeling sorry for yourself is another second you gift to the people who will gladly step over you. Pain is not a permission slip to quit. It's a test. And if you keep failing it, you'll stay exactly where you are, stuck in the same place, with the same problems, telling the same sad story until your last breath. You either break out now, or you stay broken forever. Pain is not the enemy most people think it is. In fact, it's one of the most powerful forces you will ever encounter in your life, and the way you use it will decide everything about your future. Too many people waste their pain by turning it inward, letting it fester into self-pity, bitterness, or resentment. They think pain is a sign that life is unfair, that the world is against them, that maybe they were never meant to win. But pain is a message, a loud, unignorable signal that something in you needs to change, something in your situation needs to shift, and that you are being pushed to grow. It's raw energy, and raw energy can either destroy or build. The difference lies in whether you decide to sit in the corner and cry over it, or get up, clench your fists, and turn that hurt into the fuel that drives you forward. Every great story of success has pain in its foundation. You think champions rise out of comfort. You think world-class people were handed their power on a silver platter. No, they bled for it. They suffered for it. They endured ridicule, loss, rejection, betrayal, and moments when quitting seemed like the smartest thing to do. But instead of letting that pain justify giving up, they turned it into an advantage. They let the anger burn hotter, the humiliation cut deeper, the rejection sting longer, and then they used all of that to push harder than anyone else around them. Pain will sharpen your vision if you let it. It will give you a clarity that comfort can never offer. But the only way it becomes a weapon is when you stop asking why me, and start asking what can I build from this. When life hits you, you have two choices: let it break you or let it forge you. Most people choose to let it break them because that's easier. Lying in bed replaying the disappointment is easier than showing up and pushing forward anyway. Complaining to your friends about how unlucky you are is easier than keeping your mouth shut and working in silence. That's why most people stay average, because they treat pain as an excuse to stop instead of a reason to start. If you can flip the switch in your mind and view every bit of pain as energy, you suddenly have more power than you ever imagined. Pain will wake you up in the morning. Pain will keep you training when your body screams for rest. Pain will make you immune to the words of doubters because you've been through worse than their opinions. Your pain is proof that you're still alive, still capable of moving forward, still in the fight. People without pain are already dead, maybe not physically, but mentally and emotionally they're buried. Comfort has made them soft, weak, incapable of taking a real hit from life. But your pain is a gift that keeps you sharp. It teaches you to value progress, to never waste a second, to appreciate every small victory because you know how much it costs to earn it. If you've ever been so low you couldn't see the way forward, you already hold the most dangerous weapon in the world, the ability to keep going when it feels impossible. Because the truth is, people who have suffered deeply are the ones who, if they decide to rise, become unstoppable. The pain you feel is not a wall, it's a forge, and like metal in the fire, you're being reshaped. That reshaping hurts because it's breaking the weaker parts of you, burning away the excess, and leaving only the strongest steel behind. But here's the problem: most people step out of the forge too early. They can't take the heat, so they run. They never stay in long enough to become something unbreakable. If you can endure the heat longer than anyone else, you will walk out of your trials sharper, stronger, and more dangerous than the person you were before. And that is the point. Pain is not here to paralyze you. It is here to prepare you for the kind of life you've been dreaming about, but will never reach unless you're willing to suffer for it. When you understand this, pain stops being a punishment and becomes a challenge. Every setback, every insult, every heartbreak stops being a reason to doubt yourself and starts becoming another weapon in your arsenal. You remember the time they said you'd never make it, and instead of crying, you smile because you know they just added more fuel to your fire. You think about the times you were alone, the nights nobody was there to help, and you realize those moments made you self-reliant in a way that most people will never understand. Pain teaches you lessons that comfort can't, lessons about patience, discipline, resilience, and grit. It's the silent training ground where the strongest people are built without applause, without validation, and without anyone cheering them on. Self-pity is a slow poison that feels harmless at first. It creeps in quietly, whispering that you've been treated unfairly, that you deserve a break, that you're a victim of bad luck. It convinces you to replay the pain in your head like a movie you can't stop watching, trapping you in a loop that drains your energy and focus. And while you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, time is slipping away. Time doesn't pause for your sadness. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready again. Every second you spend drowning in self-pity is a second you'll never see again, and that is the most dangerous trade you could ever make. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose possessions and replace them. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Every hour wasted on why me is an hour you could have spent building the life you want. Self-pity is a thief that wears your face. It tricks you into believing you're resting when you're actually rotting. It tells you that you're giving yourself space to heal, but in reality, it's slowly cementing your feet into the ground so you can't move forward. The longer you sit in it, the heavier it becomes, until one day you wake up and realize months have passed, and nothing in your life has changed except your excuses. Time is ruthless. It will keep moving whether you do or not. The people who win in life are not the ones who never get hurt. They're the ones who refuse to give pain any more time than it deserves. They feel it, they face it, and then they get back to work before the clock steals their chance. The most dangerous part of self-pity isn't even the lost time, it's the habits it builds. When you train your brain to sit in misery instead of acting, you create a cycle that's harder and harder to break. The first time you feel sorry for yourself, it might be for a day. The next time, maybe a week, then a month, then years. Before you know it, you've built an entire identity around being the person who could have or should have done more. Meanwhile, the people who started in worse positions than you have passed you, not because they were better, but because they refused to give time to their sadness. They understood that every tick of the clock is either an investment or a loss, and self-pity guarantees it will be a loss. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have, but self-pity makes you spend it like it's worthless. It makes you believe there will always be more tomorrows to chase your goals. It hides the truth from you that your time is running out right now. You don't get to hit pause until you feel strong again. The world is still spinning, opportunities are still moving, and someone else is taking the spot you could have earned. When you're busy sitting in the dark feeling sorry for yourself, someone else is in the light doing the work you refuse to do. By the time you finally decide to stand up, they're already so far ahead that catching them becomes almost impossible. The only way to protect your time is to be ruthless with it. You have to treat every second like gold and guard it from anything that doesn't serve you, and self-pity serves no one. When you feel that pull to sit and wallow, you have to recognize it as an enemy. You have to snap yourself out of it, not because the pain isn't real, but because the cost of staying in it is too high. Every moment you waste on feeling sorry for yourself could have been a moment of action, a step forward, a move that brings you closer to the life you want. And when you really understand how short life is, you won't be willing to waste a single moment on something as empty as self-pity. Life is not going to hand you the victory you want. It will not bend the rules because you've suffered, and it will not wait for you to get ready. Pain will come, and it will come hard. You can either let it chain you to the floor, or you can forge it into the sharpest weapon you've ever held. Every wound, every betrayal, every loss, you can use them to strike back at life with more power than you've ever had before. But the key is action. Pain without action is just suffering. Pain turned into motion becomes unstoppable momentum, and time is the battlefield where this war is fought. You cannot afford to spend it on self-pity. Every moment you sit in the shadows feeling sorry for yourself is a moment you hand over to someone else. That second will never return. The opportunity will never come in that exact way again. Protect your time like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop believing you need to heal completely before you move. The world is moving right now, and you have a choice: move with it or get left behind. Stand up, take your pain, turn it into power, and guard your time like the most precious treasure you own. Because it is. Thank you for listening, thank you for your time, and may you find the strength to rise above every trial you face. God bless you.